Is it better to be part of society or to retain your individuality? Maybe uncover your individuality, whatever makes you different. Many people nowadays don't know who they are, and they kind of perhaps pretend, perhaps unknowingly cling to these personality types, these objects that aren't them. And the quote goes, many people die at 20, but we don't get around to burying them until they're 70. Benjamin Franklin said that. I don't know if it was 65 or 70. The mass of men leave lives of quiet desperation. What is called resignation is confirmed desperation. We just kind of, there's almost like this critical time of if you're not, if you don't find who you are by a certain age, you almost like lose that ability, lose that mechanism for discovering your true nature. But the point of today is this is a question I'm asking myself. In fact, this Sunday I was in the library. I was reading some Carl Jung. He was talking about individuality. Carl Jung's a famous psychologist. He really became behind the tailwind of this guy, Sigmund Freud. I highly recommend this book. A lot of people they hear Freud and they think of like the mother father stuff, but so much of what he said was immediately. It was so profound. It was almost like immediately assimilated into understanding that we just everything that he was off about. That's usually how we remember him by. That's what Jordan Peterson was saying. Anyway, he's kind of building off the foundation of what Freud led. Anyway, in this book, he's essentially talking about how you think of the heroes of culture, you think of the heroes of our time. We think of like the Leonardo da Vinci, the Einsteins, the John Locke's, just the people that really separated themselves. And there really comes a time, or I'm sure a process. I don't know if many of you are thinking something similar. If not, that's totally fine. And I'm not saying I'm like Albert Einstein. I'm not saying that. I'm not John Locke. But there does come a point where you find who you are, and you have to question: am I going to go back to society? Not for myself, but am I going to let some of my individuality die in order to please my limbic system or my lower self? And ironically, this is, I mean, I wish we could, turn off our limbic system. I wish, in a lot of ways, I wish I could just be a computer. Wish I wouldn't have to, you know, have all these needs. And I don't know if I'm the only person that feels like that, but I wish that. Um, but our body does need it. I mean, I was reading a study today, the effects of loneliness or feeling like an outcast or alone, and it's significant on the body. You know what I mean? Um, so it is interesting making that decision for yourself. I mean, even in modern times, we think of Kobe Bryant, right? People worship this man, right? He became like this basketball icon, and he's on the poster of so many. He's like on so many people's walls. People still wear his jersey, still talk about him. R.I.P. Kobe. Um, but even if you kind of hear, I mean, even just that picture of him sitting with the trophy, like you think of spending your whole life for something that wasn't necessarily. No, that's kind of a separate topic. Regardless, what he had to do to become that person, to get to that place, is against society. Yet society praises the heroes, the people that essentially align against and kind of go their own way. And it's interesting the effect it has, right? Because Kobe arguably didn't have a very happy life. I mean, aside from all the success that he had, if you, I mean, even like Michael Jordan, right? He was doing his retirement speech and just talking about, I don't recommend this. Like, if you want to live a happy life, I don't know if he said this verbatim, but find something else. And I think there is intrinsic value in meeting those lower needs. And I don't know if that's like starting a family, right? Joining a community, doing all that. But you do, in some regard, sacrifice what you can become. So this is the dilemma I'm having. I don't think I am. There's only so many Leonardo da Vinci's. I think out of the box, I don't think I was given that gift. I think in some ways, in some aspects of my life, I feel like I do have that. Just in terms of like awareness, which sounds kind of interesting. But I don't know if I'm willing. This is the conversation I'm having. Am I being selfish by deciding to have, maybe not selfish, but I'm trying to decide, do I want less impact and to fulfill my, even though I know they're like low desires in order to live like a more happy life, or am I willing to advance the wheel, to push the wheel of history forward? What do you guys think? Am I the only one that's thinking this? Probably not. Hopefully, I hope there's people out there that feel the same way. And it's weird. I feel like Thoreau talks about this a lot. I almost feel like I'm kind of sitting on the banks of society and feeling like this. And I don't know if it just goes beyond loneliness. And even this is another interesting topic of, you think of the diversification of interests, right? Like, at what point in time could someone listen to Bach and Yeat at the same time? You almost become so like diversified in all these things. You almost become like so unique, and there's no one that's going to have that same experience as you. So I don't know if maybe the loneliness epidemic we're having is just because of how many interests there are, and usually friends are found around interests, according to C.S. Lewis in his book The Four Loves, which I don't want to say I recommend. C.S. Lewis is I don't know about him, but let me know what you think. Is it worth maxing out your life knowing that you're going to be miserable? Or are you just going to not do what everyone else is doing, but on purpose? See, this is the thing. Most people don't awaken to, I don't want to say their true potential. That sounds so corny, but like, most people don't know who they are on like just in general. So it's almost like, in some ways, if you think of the analogy of the cave from The Republic by Plato, you've come out of the cave, right? You're looking at, let's pretend we're blinded by the moon, all right? Not necessarily the sun. I don't think I'm at that level of of understanding yet. Is it worth going back in the cave in order to live happily ever after, right? And like, you're knowingly doing that, knowing like you're giving up something that's so real. Let me know what you think. Love you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.